Adam Peacock, News. How are you, mate? I'm guessing you're better than your roommate at the moment. How's the last 24 hours been for him emotionally? You as well, trying to support him. I'm guessing he's getting support from the whole team, but you're in the same unit as him. How's he been?
Yeah, he's been all right. Obviously, he's had his moments where he's obviously thought over the whole situation. He's devastated and disappointed. But one thing is, he obviously gave everything he could to try to get himself fit, and he wanted to give it a real crack, and it was just not meant to be. So, yeah, look, he's obviously disappointed, but he's also a very lively and happy guy. So, what I understand is he'll stay around the camp for the campaign, which is good because he deserves it, and he's a good guy to have around the group as well. So. Yeah, very happy for him that he can stay and experience it all.
Yeah, on that, so his role transitions. Does the team need someone like him? I understand in June he was the last one out of the pool after the celebrations, after the Peru game, but what can he bring in that sense? What kind of character brings out the best in others, having him around?
Yeah, he's just a lively character. He's always having a laugh, and there's always a good buzz around him. So definitely, has the camp alive, and he's a funny guy. So I think it's very good that he can stick around and be with us.
Kind of, sorry, Joe Button from News Corp. Kind of loosely on that, but on the flip side, what do you, as teammates, kind of have to do to support him now? And do you feel a sense of obligation to prove something on the field to look after him a little bit?
Yeah, look, we know that now it's clear that he's not going to be a part of it, and we're all sad for him because he did so much and contributed so much to getting us here. So it's just another reason for us to do it for him, and yeah, I think the most important thing is I'm sure he wanted to stick around because I think his family's coming over anyway, and for that to be able to happen and that he can stay with us in the camp, that's the best outcome for him, and I think for the group as well.
And for yourself personally, I mean, it does kind of chip away or open up one of the wing spots. Does that give you any sense of confidence that you're ready to start against France? You may have already been preparing that way.
Yeah, look, obviously I'm not, sitting here and thinking about those things now that he's not involved. I've just done everything I could to prepare myself for this tournament. As soon as we qualified, I knew what was needed to be ready for a World Cup, and it's a different sort of situation coming into this one. Obviously, we don't have our pre-camp, and there's no time to get ourselves ready in a physical sense. So it was super important just to do all the right things from then till now to get my body in the best shape possible. And whether I am, on the field come kick off, that's obviously up to Arnie. But I'm just proud that we're here, and whoever takes the field will do a job.
Lex, Joey Lynch here from ESPN. Good to see you again, mate. Joe's just asked you about the wing, but one thing you do bring to this squad is a lot of versatility. You can play on the wing, you can play as a striker. PK's been playing you as a 10 at times this year for City. Do you feel as though you can comfortably fill any of those roles if Arnie calls upon you to do so?
Yeah, I think so. I think the most important thing is just to, whatever Arnie goes with in terms of lineup, everyone brings their own individual qualities, and he's obviously selected me as an attacker, and I think selected players, 2 players to each position, and obviously I was mainly selected as a winger, but if he taps me on the shoulder and he says he wants me to play a different role, then I'll definitely do it. So I'm just happy that I've experienced those roles, I guess, and know I can do a job if needed.
And coming up against the French, mate, what do you need to do to bang some goals in and get the win?
I think we just need to, get at them and, respect, obviously, that they're a quality side with quality individuals, but not too much respect in the sense that we don't play our game. And, it was a tough match for them last time, and we want to do the same thing. And we have to control or implicate the things that we can do equal to them, and that's, bring the physical battle and the mindset that everyone works for 90 minutes with and without the ball. And if we're a compact squad, team without the ball, it's always hard to break down teams.
Lex, Vince Regari from the Sydney Morning Herald, good to see you as well. The flip side of Martin's misfortune is an opportunity for Marco Tilio to play at a World Cup. He's obviously a special talent, and you know him really well at Melbourne City. Is he ready for this stage?
Yeah, I believe he is. He was also preparing to, give himself that every opportunity to be selected. And now he's here, and it's ironically similar to, his Olympics campaign where he came in late and, he scored a goal against Argentina. So Marco's a very talented player, and he's a player that can make things happen in moments in a game. So I'm sure he's super excited, and yeah, if he gets his chance, he'll definitely take it. I think for the young players, there's no bigger stage in the World Cup, and you see after every World Cup the amount of signings that are made and players that appear that no one really knew of. And the young boys we have here, if they have a special moment in this tournament, they can be the players that are those players.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that young crop as well. I mean, Arnie may have on the bench two, excellent wing weapons in Tilio and Quoll. Cameron Devlin in particular seems like a guy who might be suited to this game. He's got a bit of mongrel in him. Have these players brought something different to the squad, and maybe something that was needed, at stages during qualification?
Yeah, they all, like I said, every player has their own individual qualities, and someone like Garang, who has sort of come onto the scene in the recent months, and he continues to back it up with good performances in the A-League, and he's made such an impact off the bench there. So I'm sure if they get their opportunity, they'll do everything they can to do the same thing. And I was young once, and I know the situations. It's obviously there's sort of players that have moments and raw ability to make something happen out of nothing, and I think those two players have that in them. And Cam, he's worked super hard and done really well for his club. And speaking to players here that play in Scotland, and they say that every opposition hates him on the field because of how much of a mongrel he is, as you said. But you need those type of players, and I think mentally and physically, if you win the battle on a football field, that's half the battle, if not more than half. So those are definitely things we need to bring into the games.
Lex, Mark Schwarzer, Optus Sport. How you going, mate?
Good, mate.
Talk about, you were there 4 years ago, almost the same group. What makes this campaign different at this World Cup?
Ironically, we play, two of the same teams, and, us as the leadership group had a bit of a chat about it, and we said, this is our second chance, almost, because we play against two of the exact same teams as last time, and we were so close but so far last time, and, although we threw everything at it, it was small details that, we missed out, so it's a second chance to, make things right and give us an opportunity to make things go the other way. And we've always had a belief as a squad, but I think the belief is even more there on how well we did against them last time. And it's just, the 1 or 2% more that will get us over the line.
Got one more hard-hitting question for you. Got a barista in camp. What's your coffee of choice?
I'm pretty straightforward. I just go for a latte, nothing special.
Hey Matt, David Mark from the ABC. First game kicks off in less than 4 hours. Will you be watching, and how much of the tournament are you going to be taking in when you're not training and playing?
Yeah, so obviously, you know, we have training this afternoon. I think the schedule slightly changed, that we might be able to just get around it once kickoff starts. Yeah, look, other than, you know, preparing for the games ourselves and getting ourselves in shape with, you know, physios and gym and on all that sort of stuff, there's very little to do here. So I'm sure a lot of the boys will get on watching the games. You know, although we are here to, you know, be a part of the World Cup and do something special, we all still love the game of football. So when there's a game on, we'll definitely watch it.
So would you describe yourself as a football nuffy? Do you try to get as much as you possibly can? And do you think we'll see any trends as the World Cup plays out?
Sorry, can you ask that again?
I did actually ask 2 questions, which is a bit unfair. Are you a football nuffy? Do you try to take in as many games as possible? And I guess the second part of that question, slightly different, is that, you know, do you think we're going to see any emerging trends during this World Cup?
Yeah, look, I think when it comes to football, you know, I like to watch football games, but I'm more involved in watching football games that I'm a part of. So I've always watched or like to follow the leagues I play in. Obviously, it's direct opposition. And other than that, you know, the big tournaments, obviously like a World Cup or a Champions League, it's a little bit harder in Australia, but definitely like to watch those games. But I also like to stay away from it sometimes, and there's definitely probably people out there that love watching football games more than me. But and the trends of the, you know, World Cup, it's a special occasion with, you know, the best teams in the world, countries in the world, and I think you can never predict what's going to happen. There'll always be, you know, upsets, and the script's never written. So I'm excited to see how it plays out.
So David, just to confirm, we have moved the schedule today to make sure that we can watch the opening game as a group. So.
Good evening, Matthew. I'm Greg for French TV, Canal Plus. Sorry for my English. I'm sure you've seen the Karim Benzema injury yesterday. What does it change for you? Or do you think it could be more easier for you and your team against French team next Tuesday?
Yeah, look, obviously, we did hear the news that, I don't know if he's completely out of the tournament or he is. Yeah, it's obviously, you know, a big player in the world, you know, best striker in the world right now. But in saying that, you know, go across the whole squad and all the players, you know, the player that will replace him is just as good. So we're not really looking or thinking too much about individuals. We know what the individuals can bring. We just need to be on the day a better team rather than better individuals. And yeah, like Boyley, it's a disappointing thing. Obviously, you know, he's a great player, and you want to see those type of players in a World Cup. So it's obviously disappointing for Benzema, but we're not thinking too much about that. We're more thinking about, you know, the game in general.
Can you hear me? Okay. I'm French too, sorry for my English. And you played the game versus France 4 years ago. And when you look at this game and the team that France took here, there's a lot of players that are missing, like Kanté, like Pogba, like Umtiti. Would you say that this French team would be not weaker, but maybe less strong than the one you faced 4 years ago? Thank you.
Yeah, well, obviously they have some key players missing. You know, I think lead up to this World Cup, there's been a lot of injuries across a lot of the countries with star players of football. Whether it will be easy or not, I think, like I said, the players that replace those players are just as good. and they probably bring something different to their team. So we're not jumping up and down when we hear players get injured. It's never a good thing in football. And yeah, we're just focusing on who's in front of us, which players are there, and best preparing for them.
Matt, Tom Smithies from Keep Up. This is obviously your third World Cup, probably the most inexperienced squad you've been part of. What does success look like, do you think, for this team?
Yeah, we just, we've always had the belief in the squad, and the last two games the last two campaigns to get to a World Cup that I was a part of, we all know we did it the hard way, and that's what just makes it that much special, because we know how much of a grind and how hard it is to get here. So you work 4 years to get to this point, and it's 3 games to get out of a group. So I think we all have the same mentality in the sense that we're going to give everything we can for these 3 games, because if that's not the way you're thinking, then you've gone through 4 years of hard work for nothing really. So we believe, we always have. I think Peru, not many people really thought we were going to get through and didn't give us much of a chance. And we proved that we could do it. And us as a group internally always believe that. And we also believe that we can get out of this group.
Lex, Dave Davutovic from Keep Up. On the 3 World Cups, can you just compare, I guess, how you're feeling coming into this World Cup physically, mentally, 3 different stages of your career, and just reflect on your last, year and a half and your decision to come back to the A-League?
I think going into all 3 World Cups, I've always done my best to put myself in the best possible shape, physically, mentally. Not much in life really causes me too much headache. I'm a pretty chilled guy, and I just take things as it comes. Obviously my World Cup in Brazil, I was fairly young. I didn't experience any of the qualifications, so I was a bit unaware of how hard it was to get there. But I just, as a young player, went into the game with a mentality that doesn't really matter who I'm playing against or who I'm in front of. I just try to do the best I possibly can, and obviously Russia, and now I experienced how hard it is to get there, and it's something you really can't explain, and it's over 4 years, so there's just so much that goes on. Like I said, I just play the game as I've always have. I try to enjoy it, and I think as a footballer, if you're confident and you're enjoying your football, that's when you bring the best out of yourself and play your best football. And I think that's the mentality that a lot of the players should be having, is just be yourself and play as you always do, because we're all here for a reason. We've all got our own qualities, and Arnie believes that our qualities are the ones that are going to get results, and that's why those players are there, because of what they've been doing in their football career. So that would be, my mindset all the time, is just try to enjoy my football and do what I've done always.
G'day Lex, Spence from Channel 10. The reason for getting the team together and watching the game, is that partly to get a bit more hyped, because you're kind of locked away from the world here, aren't you, in your little bubble? And how excited are you that the game's getting closer? And also, when does Arnie sit you down and tell you what role you're going to play?
Was that 2 or 3?
2.5.
I think we're just going to get together and watch the game. Obviously, it's the opener. It's it's weird. I think in all the World Cups I've experienced, you don't really get the real vibe of a World Cup as a player, because we're obviously in our bubble, which is completely understandable. But I can just imagine how much different it would be as a fan. So we basically got here. I arrived here at 3 a.m. and the streets were fairly quiet, and I didn't really see much of the World Cup. So although we know that in a couple of days we have our first game, it's still a bit of a strange feeling that the World Cup's right now, right around the corner. So it'll be good to see the game and see it all kick off. And yeah, like I said, we obviously are fans of football. That's why we became footballers, and the World Cup's the best thing to watch as a footballer. What was the other one?
And Arnie, when does he sit you down and tell you what the team is?
I'm not sure. Obviously, we're training a few things the last couple of days, but there's no real, nothing really been seen of, the way he wants to line the team up. Obviously, we're working on how we want to approach the game. But for me personally, I haven't really thought too much about it. Just try to get the training sessions in and focus on what the approach is going into the first game, and take from there.
Matthew, Ryan Hiscox from Stats Perform. Fresh haircut, mate. I hear in addition to the team barista, you've got a team barber today. In all seriousness, what tangible impact do those little luxuries have on the team, especially in your bubble?
What did you say, sorry, at the end?
What tangible impact does that have while you're in your bubble and you're sort of withdrawn from all that fan stuff?
Yeah, so obviously, when we're in camp, Football Australia have always been really, really good at giving us everything we possibly need, and they've never put a foot wrong, and we've never been complaints from any player. It's an amazing setup, and we're very fortunate that the treatment that we get, and we're very, very well looked after. So for us, obviously, because we've had it for so long, it seems normal, but it does help that much, and we know that. So we're very fortunate to have what we have, and that's why we don't take it for granted. And me personally, for a haircut, yeah, it's nice. I could probably get by without one, but I think there's probably a few boys that wouldn't be able to.
Matt, Luke Doherty, Fox Sports News. Just back to Marco quickly, obviously with respect to Boyley, because it's not a great day for him, but I remember when Marco missed the cut, I think it was you and Jamie saying you got around him at training and told him not to give up and to use this as fuel to get back there in 4 years' time. I'm just wondering, given that change in fortunes, what his reaction was like today, because it's obviously a great day for him.
Yeah, I think when he got the call to come over here, he would have been stoked. I think when he found out that he wasn't selected originally, it would have been, a tough day for him, no doubt. And it's almost like a second chance. And I think his mentality needs to be that, regardless of what's before, he's here now. And it's funny how football works. I can almost guarantee that he'll play some role in this team, and those are the type of players and type of moments that normally do something special. So he's a great kid, very, very humble in what he does, very respectful guy, and he definitely will be buzzing to be here, and if he gets the opportunity, he's the type of guy that will take it.